Did you know that in 10 million years the African continent will split into two separate landmasses? And in another 100 million years, one of these landmasses is going to collide with the Asian continent, creating a mountain range bigger and higher than the mighty Himalayas. The resulting collision will be so strong that we might even get to see a mountain peak higher than the towering Mount Everest. Soon after that, the urban cities of Mumbai, Goa, and Karachi will start to freeze, and the whole place might even start to give an Antarctican vibe. Unfortunately, you won't be there to witness it. Scientific observations are made every day, and yet we are rarely able to comprehend the changes our Earth experiences on a grand scale. Small movements, blips on the radar, and non-dramatic shifts in the geography and biology of our world may not seem like great alterations in our environment, but in totality can result in major changes in the composition of where we live. For instance, the tectonic plates that make up the foundation of Earth's land masses move, shift, and grind away at one another on an incredibly small scale. These movements can result in dramatic events like earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, but most often are slow and quiet. Over an incredibly long time scale, these movements can result in new continents being born, mountain ranges growing, and new oceans forming. In the beginning, more than 4.6 billion years ago, the world was a ball of burning gas, spinning through space. At first, superheated gases were able to escape into outer space, but as the Earth cooled, they were held by gravity to form the early atmosphere. Clouds began to develop as water vapor collected in the air, and then it began to pour with rain, causing the early oceans to rise up. It took hundreds of millions of years for the first land masses to emerge. About 250 million years ago, long after the Earth had formed, all the continents of the time had joined together to form a supercontinent called PANGAEA. This supercontinent broke up about 200 million years ago to form two giant continents, Gondwana and Laurasia. Gondwana comprised what is now Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, and India. The Indian subcontinent lay off the east coast of Africa before it broke off and moved north rapidly. It collided with Asia, creating one of the world's greatest mountain ranges, which extends for more than 2,500 kilometers, the Himalayas. By now, our world had started to look like something we could recognize. The amazing process of plate tectonics, in which the Earth's landmasses move slowly across the Earth's crust, is still continuing. Far in the future, some scientists have predicted that the present continents will converge again to form a new supercontinent. Only time will tell what's about to happen. But can you imagine being able to watch the creation of a new continent and potentially a new ocean? Although this is a slow process by human standards, we are able to do just that in eastern Africa. The wildly interesting part of the world is home to the confluence of the Nubian, Somali, and Arabian tectonic plates that have helped form rifts running south into Kenya and Tanzania, northwest to the Sinai, and east to Aden. Eventually, these rifts could split Africa into pieces and create a new ocean that would form in the rift valleys. These tectonic plates are moving away from one another at a spread of 1 to 1.5 centimeters per year and will stop when the forces behind them quit, or more likely, when they run into another tectonic plate. There is a lot that science still doesn't understand about the boundaries of tectonic plates and what drives them apart and together. The ongoing research in Africa is helping to fill in some of these knowledge gaps, while also creating even more questions that we have to answer about how our Earth moves and behaves. While the majority of tectonic plate activity is small and nearly unnoticeable, unless you're looking for it, other events are dramatic and remind us that the ground we walk on isn't as stable as it seems. A rift that was several kilometers long emerged in southwestern Kenya, exposing an area that may have been an erosional gully from a pre-existing fault line. This area encompasses the boundary of the Somali and Nubian plates and may have been an indicator of new plate boundaries. The mechanics of plate boundaries are, in many ways, still a mystery. Another extreme event occurred in 2005 in Ethiopia, when a rift 35 miles long opened up. This is equivalent to several hundred years of rift activity focused on one event. While some researchers are focused on the activity of rift volcanoes, others look at these extreme events to try to discover what unique forces are at work that prompt such scenarios. Rifts exhibit a very distinctive topography, characterized by a series of fault-bounded depressions surrounded by higher terrain. In the East African system, a series of aligned rift valleys separated from each other by large bounding faults can be clearly seen from space. The East African rift is unique in that it allows us to observe different stages of rifting along its length. To the south, where the rift is young, extension rates are low and faulting occurs over a wide area. Volcanism and seismicity are limited. Towards the Afar region, however, the entire rift valley floor is covered with volcanic rocks. This suggests that, in this area, The lithosphere has thinned almost to the point of complete breakup. When this happens, a new ocean will begin forming through the solidification of magma in the space created by the broken-up plates. Eventually, over a period of tens of millions of years, seafloor spreading will progress along the entire length of the rift. The ocean will flood in, and as a result, the African continent will become smaller, and there will be a large island in the Indian Ocean composed of parts of Ethiopia and Somalia, including the Horn of Africa. This large island will change the geography of the world forever. For starters, it will be the largest island in the world, having trenches deeper than the mighty Mariana Trench. Who knows what species are going to be discovered as a result of this? Maybe a Godzilla? A megalodon? Or maybe it's best that we leave it for some other time. However, another 20 million years after the split, the Indian Ocean will have plenty of islands to spend your vacations on. This will happen due to the fact that the Somalian plate will eventually collide with the Indo-Australian plate. As a result of this collision, a series of small volcanic islands will emerge in the Indian Ocean. What's more interesting is that the splitting of Africa as a result of the East African Rift will push the Arabian plate into the Eurasian plate, uplifting seabed and land into mountains. The collision between the Arabian plate and Eurasia is pushing up the Zagros Mountains of Iran. Because the Arabian plate and Eurasian plate collide, some cities such as those in southeastern Turkey, which is on the Arabian plate, may undergo earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes. The collision will give rise to a new mountain range wider and more massive than the Great Himalayas. Mountains are formed where two continental plates collide. Since both Arabian and Somalian plates have similar thickness and weight, neither one will sink under the other. Instead, they will crumple and fold until the rocks are forced up to form a mountain range. As the plates continue to collide, the resulting mountains will get taller and taller, even taller than the 9-kilometer-high Mount Everest. This seems like a good opportunity for the climbers to set new world records, but for the locals it might not be the same case. The resulting mountains will soon begin to lower the temperature of the nearby areas, resulting in cities like Karachi, Goa, and Mumbai facing cold, bitter winters throughout the year. Such brutal coldness, which was hitherto unknown to the people of these metropolitans, will force them to evacuate these once largely populated areas. The world's geography might completely change in the coming future, but unfortunately, we won't be a part of it. But humanity would still be there, don't you think? So what are your thoughts on this mind-blowing revelation? What do you think will happen if all the continents join together to form a supercontinent? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content like this.